Alright, I'm super excited to be in Nîmes today. It's a fantastic sunny morning in beautiful Nîmes, and Nîmes has been dubbed the most Roman city outside of Italy. And if you come here, you immediately know why. I'm standing in front of the arena, a Roman arena that has stood the test of time of 2000 years. We're going to check out this beautiful masterpiece of a building later today, and I'm going to take you on a walking tour through this beautiful city, and we're going to check out the best places. Check out this map that I put together for my walk through Nîmes. That gives you a sense of the tour that we're going on. I'm going to start my tour through Nîmes here at the train station, which might be the place where you are going to arrive in Nîmes. And the train station itself is already super beautiful. I don't know when it was built, but it is built in a really eclectic mix of modern and old architecture. And that might be already symptomatic for this beautiful city of Nîmes that is such an historical place, but also features some really modern architecture as well. So we're going to explore this really interesting city now on a walking tour, and I'm going to take you to the best places in Nîmes. When you exit the train station, you immediately see the beautifully tree-lined Avenue Feuchere in front of you. It's a pedestrianized boulevard. The train station and Avenue Feuchere is named after the 19th century French stage designer and architect Léon Feuchere, who marked quite a bit of the architecture here in the city of Nîmes. So this is interesting. What I consider to be a fountain is actually used for people to walk bare feet, to cool down a little bit more. And people are even sitting bare feet along this fountain and just keep their feet in the cool water. What a neat idea. At the end of the Avenue Feuchere, you see a massive white marble spring fountain that is topped by a woman standing proud, overlooking a large square. So this fountain makes reference to the rich Roman history of the city of Nîmes. It features a woman standing on top, allegorically representing the city of Nîmes, as she has the Maison Carrée, the square house, on her head. The Maison Carrée is one of the important buildings here in Nîmes, dating all the way back to the 1st and 2nd century, and of course we're going to check that out later too. Once you're standing in front of the Pradier fountain, you can already see the most important building of Nîmes, and the building really that Nîmes is famous for, and that's of course Les Arènes, the Roman arena of Nîmes. During Roman times, Nîmes used to be an important capital city in the Roman Empire with a population of 50 to 60,000 people. What's really exciting about Nîmes is that while these buildings have been constructed in the 1st century, they still are in a remarkable pristine condition. The Nîmes Arena, for example, is used up to today for festivals, and the Nîmes Festival is taking place every summer in June and July, and features a whole range of international renowned artists, all of whom are keen to perform in this beautiful arena. The Nîmes Arena has an interesting history. It was built by the Romans in the early 2nd century and became later a military fortification in the 6th century. By the time of the 14th century, people started to use it as a storage space, and some of the people in Nîmes moved in, enclosed the arches with walls and windows, and only in the 18th, 19th and 20th century the arena got restored to the condition that we're seeing today. A fun fact about Nîmes is that the name of the city is the basis for denim, because the denim jeans were designed and developed here in Nîmes, de Nîmes. In the 18th and 19th century, Nîmes used to have a booming textile industry, and denim was a big factor for that. Unfortunately, today you're not going to see much of that rich tradition anymore, as the textile industry has moved to other parts of the country and other countries. So nowadays there aren't many traces left that would speak of that interesting past. On the front of the square you see the church of Sainte Perpetue and Sainte Félicité, which is a Gothic style church that has some Byzantine and neoclassical elements. As a fun fact, the first stone of this church was laid by Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. Who would have thought? Okay, let's head into the main city center of Nîmes with the many small stores, shops, cafes, many of which are still closed because it's early morning time, but the city is slowly coming alive. A cute central square here in Nîmes is the Place aux Herbes. What's interesting about the Place aux Herbes is that this square has seen quite a bit of brutality in the history of the city. The Place aux Herbes was where some of Nîmes' darkest moments during the French Wars of Religion took place. This was the place where the Catholic priests and monks were massacred during the French religious wars in the 1500s. But it used to be a major market square, and you can still see some holes in the facade of the church where the market sellers fixed their stands. The Place aux Herbes is located directly in front of the Nîmes Cathedral, and unfortunately you can't see much of the cathedral right now because it is under renovation. So they're doing some structural work at the tower, but maybe we can go inside. Let's have a look. So let me give you a little bit of background on the Nîmes Cathedral. This building has quite a tumultuous history behind it. The location of the cathedral has been a religious site since the Roman times as there has been a temple of Augustus here in the 1100s. But the church that was initially built here has taken quite a beating in the French religious wars in the 16th and 17th century, and so there's only very few elements of the current cathedral that still date back to that time. So most of the design of the cathedral stems from the 19th century and is held in the Gothic style, but there are some elements of Neo-Byzantine design as well. Make sure you check out the interior, which is quite beautiful, very large, high ceilings, and have a look at the organ, which is quite beautiful. Just a short 2-minute walk from the Place aux Herbes, you get to the Place de l'Horloge, which features a beautiful clock tower from the 18th century, which replaced an initial clock tower that was built in the 15th century. And this is a major iconic building here in the city center of Nîmes. This campanile is 31 meters high. And what's interesting is it's not connected to any building here. So it's a self-standing structure and overlooks a beautiful square that features, again, restaurants and bistros and cafes that invite for relaxing. If you come to Nîmes, you have to stop at Les Halles, which is the central market, food market here in Nîmes, and it's really a happening place. And if you know a little bit about the French, is that they love food, and this is a true food temple. Let's check it out. So you find these market halls all over Europe, and while the Halles in Nîmes may not be the most beautiful building from the outside, it's certainly makes up for it in the quality of the food inside. It's really a happening place. You can tell most of the shoppers are locals, so this is not a touristic destination like the Feuchere in Barcelona, for example. Alright, we're now going to make our headway to our next destination on our trip through Nîmes. Another highlight. Let's check it out. I now made my way to the Maison Carée, and I'm absolutely blown away by how well this building is preserved. If you think about that, this has been built 2,000 years ago, it's in an astonishing shape. The Maison Carée is an exemplary piece of Vitruvian architecture and is almost unparalleled in the former Roman world for its completeness. The temple was dedicated to Gaius and Lucius Caesar, two grandsons of Emperor Augustus, who died in their youth. In the next 20 centuries, it became a house, granary, church, and was also the mooted tomb of the 16th century Duke of Uzès, Antoine de Crussol. All these functions have certainly helped to preserve the building and keep it intact for so long. You can enter through the majestic doorway, which is almost 7 meters in height, and there's a small, fairly simple chamber that shows a film about ancient Nîmes. The most impressive part of the Maison Carrée is certainly the exterior. The interior is a fairly simple, bland room. There's nothing in there. There's a small exhibition that tells you a little bit about the history of the Maison Carrée. But the entrance is €6. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think it's fine to just look at the Maison Carrée from the outside. That's impressive enough. Just opposite the Maison Carrée, you'll find the Carré d'Art, which is a modern art museum. And that museum has been developed by the Cité de Nimes after a terrible flood that hit the city in 1988. And they rejuvenated this part of the city with a new art museum. It looks quite beautiful from the outside. But what's striking is that this museum actually has, I believe, 8 or 9 floors, and most of them are subterranean. So what you see is only a small part of the museum. The entrance to the museum is €8, and I've read some reviews that were not necessarily that favorable. I'm not going to go inside today, but if you're a fan of modern art, by all means give it a look. Alright, after this highlight, we're going to go to our next highlight of our tour. Let's have a look. Alright, I've reached now the Jardins de la Fontaine, which is a beautiful park that dates back to the 18th century. It was one of the first public parks that were developed, and it's a maze of water, fountains, large trees, benches, and you can't miss it when you're here in Nîmes. Definitely check it out. It's absolutely beautiful here. It's another very, very hot day here in southern France, and those trees are doing a fantastic job at providing enough shade and cooling down the air, together with the water fountains that also help. It's just beautiful. There are numerous canals that lead through the park. The origin of this park was an attempt to channel the water of a natural spring. And in that attempt, a temple of Augustus and a Roman theater were found, and that led to the creation of this park around it. The opening hours of this park are in the summer months from 7:30 to 8 p.m. So you can't go inside in the evening, but it makes for a great stroll during the daytime. This park is massive in size. This is normally something that you see around a Baroque castle in Europe. Reminds me a little bit of Schloss Schönbrunn, the gardens there. If you haven't checked out my video on Vienna, please do so. In the park you'll find the Temple de Diane, which is a Roman era monument that dates back all the way to 25 BC. Super old, and it was built at the time as a glorification temple for the Roman family. I guess the use was mainly to foster the cult around the Roman emperor. The visit of the temple is free of charge, so you can freely wander around here. Really quite impressive. There's another walkway that goes up the hill to the Tour Magna, the Magna Tower, but it's super hot and I don't think I'm going to make that today. I'm going to take a bit of a break, but I have another treat for you, which is a concert that I'm able to see tonight in the Arena of Nîmes as part of the Nîmes Music Festival, which takes place every summer here in June and July. They have a really impressive lineup of artists. This year they had an impressive lineup of international artists such as Sting, Deep Purple, Black Eyed Peas, and I will see a really cool concert tonight by Harper, and that also includes a performance by Rodrigo y Gabriela, a musical guitar duo from Mexico. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's check it out. As it so happens, I'm here in Nîmes today as the Festival de Nimes is going on. Okay, I'm now at the Nimes amphitheater and I'm gonna watch a concert of Harper and Rodrigo and Gabriela. Let's check it out. The atmosphere with the sunset here is just absolutely unbeatable. beautiful. And from here you can see all over Nîmes.
Make sure the fortune